When you're in a hospital room, be careful of how many people you have in the room because the noise can disturb the other patient in your hospital room if you're sharing a room with another patient. Or sometimes it's just not a good idea to be having a hospital room all crowded. Please be careful. Hi everybody, it's Mena. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is the very first video that you're seeing of me, then welcome to my channel. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you didn't already. I post every day except for Tuesday and Friday afternoon sometimes. And today in this video, I'm going to do a lunch and story time, and this is kind of a pretty late lunch for me because I was cleaning my Airbnb today. But anyway, I thought I'd just do a lunch and story time since I have a plate of Chinese food here for lunch today. It's just orange chicken and white rice. I'm sure you guys don't care what I'm eating, but I thought I'd just let you guys know. But anyway, so I'm going to tell you guys a story time about the time I was in the hospital and my relatives were visiting, and sadly, the nurses had to kick them out of my hospital room because there were too many people in the room, and you're not really supposed to have that many people in the room, so they had to move us over to the family room, which was a bigger room in the hospital that I was staying at. So this is a story just to teach you guys, if you're going to visit somebody in the hospital and you have a lot of people, ask if there's a family room that you can go into, because you don't want to go into a hospital room and you have too many people when you're visiting a friend or a family member, because sometimes it's kind of overwhelming, and also because I think you have another roommate and there's more people, there's more noise. So it's just good to be careful not to crowd a hospital room, and plus it's just also good safety hazard for people who are staying in the hospital just in case they're really sick or something. I don't really know why people aren't allowed in crowded hospital rooms, but it's just good to be mindful. If you have too many people, ask if there's a family room in the hospital. So I'm gonna get started, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Pardon me while I eat my lunch. Anyway, so this all started about 19 years ago. I was in my first week of the hospital. I had my second surgery, and this was when I had my tube in my chest, and I was about 12 years old. It was, I think, like the second or first day, the first or second day after my surgery. My my mom is in the hospital room with me, and my cousins come to visit. It's like there's about 6 people. It was my aunt, my uncle, and my 4 cousins came to visit me, and I think my cousin's girlfriend at the time came with them too. I don't remember her and stuff. So literally, I think it was about 7 people. My bad. So I got it screwed up. 7 or 8 people because my mom was in the hospital room with me. So everybody comes in to visit me. My cousin had brought me this plush bear, which I'll show you guys right now. So one of my cousins brought me this cute little bear for my first day of my chemo treatment, and it was a really sweet present. And so it was just really nice. I got to visit with everybody. Everybody was so excited to see me, and we were all like talking and chatting and hanging out. And then all of a sudden, a nurse comes by my hospital room, and she was really nice. She notices all the people in the room, and she politely tells them, "I'm so sorry, there's a little too many people in the room, so you're gonna have to either leave or go to the family room." And we were like, "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry, we didn't know." And I think oh, sorry, I'm a little distracted. I just got an Instagram notice. By the way, if you want to follow me or my dog Humphrey on Instagram, my Instagram is just Mena Homburg, and Humphrey's Instagram is Humphrey's World 007. And you'll find it there, so you can follow me or him on Instagram. So anyway, focus, Mena. So the nurse comes by and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't really have this many people in the room, and blah, 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 blah. You either have to go to the family room or you may have to leave," or yada, yada, yada. And we were all watching home movies. So we were like, "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry, we didn't know." And everybody in the hospital room was so polite, and they were like, they like had us take the videotape we had in because we were all watching home movies. And so because I was connected to some a pole. My mom had to help plug my pole that I was attached to because I had some cords attached to it so I could get my medications through the tube in my chest. And we walked down to the family room. It was just a really big room they had in the hospital where they could have more people because they didn't want too many people in the hospital room, just because it was very noisy, and it was very noisy for some of the patients who are trying to get their sleep, and a lot of patients feel better once they get their sleep. So they take us to this really big room that they called the family room, and we all hung out, had a good time, and we were watching home movies for a little bit. And then I think this goes for about an hour, and then my cousins and my aunt and uncle have to go home because the people in the hospital were making them leave because they had too many people. And so they all give me a hug. Luckily, I was able to get hugs from people, and it was a really nice thing. And this was before we found out, like, if I couldn't get hugs from people, if my counts are low and stuff, so I could only get hugs from people if my counts were high. And I think my counts were high at the time, so I was able to give people hugs goodbye, and I was really happy to see everybody. And sadly, I felt bad that everybody was getting kicked out of the hospital because they had too many people, but luckily they were able to get us in a bigger room. And I think my aunt and uncle and my cousins all had to go home anyway, just because they had some stuff to do at home, which was fine, but it was very nice to see everybody, despite the fact we had to get moved to another room. So the moral of the story is, if you're visiting a friend or a family member in the hospital, you should always be careful about the amount of people you have in the hospital room, because if you don't, you could accidentally make a whole bunch of noise and disturb the other person who is sleeping in the hospital. And it's just probably a good idea to ask to move to a bigger room, because with hospitals, you can't have too many people in one room. Because I think it's because sometimes some patients need to get their rest and sleep, and they can't really sleep when there's a lot of people in the room, because it does get kind of loud. So keep in mind, ask your local hospital if you're staying in a hospital if there's a family room where you and your family can hang out, so then they don't have to leave. But sometimes we all have to be very careful about when we're in a hospital room with too many people. So that was a story about how I accidentally had too many family members visiting me in my hospital room. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I post every day except for Tuesday and Friday afternoon sometimes. And I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe.
Oops. I meant to take a photo, not press the record button.